Ragnar versus Mordor's Call. Round 1, fight!
Hello everyone, and welcome to my next review. Today we're talking about an N64 exclusive fighting game, Mace the Dark Age. I first played this game in arcades. There used to be a place when I would go down to the beach called the Surf Shop, which now is sort of a shadow of its former self, but lives a little more up to its namesake, where it always had a little bit of surf memorabilia and equipment, and it had t-shirts and all kinds of posters and things like that, but it had two really cool things that one I know doesn't exist, and one is nothing like it used to be. There was a stand in the middle that was selling old action figures. Its specialty was old Star Wars action figures, the original line from when the original movies were out, and had just beautiful displays and decent prices, and had even like collectible trading cards. And when Guardians came out, they had carried Guardians cards. When Magic the Gathering and Pokemon first came out, they started carrying those, and had a lot of really cool nerdy collectibles randomly in this giant surf shop. And in the far corner, I remember going a couple times with my friend Matt when we were kids. They had an arcade, and the beach has tons of arcades, but this one, even though it was probably one of the smallest on the beach, had one of the best arcades because it had a lot of unique games the other ones didn't have. The other ones all had, you had Skee-Ball, and you had the House of the Dead, and just everything like that, Time Crisis, all the common stuff. This had really kind of odd, unique things that you really didn't see anywhere else, and one was Mace the Dark Age, a really good 3D fighter for the time, and it transferred pretty well to the N64. It's not quite arcade perfect, as I'll explain, but it's pretty faithful and has no missing content, which is nice. The sound is one thing that's very surprising in this game. The soundtrack is amazing. This is great hard metal, which works great with this very brutal, dark, medieval setting. It has a really good announcer voice, really just kind of deep and gruff and a little bit over the top, but it really works for it. The whole game, from the character designs to the environments to the brutality of it, is very just over the top, just like heavy metal. It really is just a very fun game to check out. The problems with the N64 version, though, the sound, again, I said, is great. Visually, it's fantastic. It has some amazing character models that are really detailed and really smooth and look really good. And especially for the N64, it's something you wouldn't expect for it. And the backgrounds are good. There's a little bit of interaction, some like moving things, and it all looks like a really good 3D fighter. But the problem is there's a lot of slowdown. Even in the menus sometimes, as you're scrolling through characters or you're waiting for things to pop up, things just kind of slow down a little bit, and it really affects gameplay, especially if you're playing on a harder difficulty level, or you're getting farther through the arcade and getting towards some of the later characters and trying to unlock the two secret characters. It can be frustratingly difficult, not because of difficulty, but because of the slowdown. You can't quite react quickly enough occasionally. It doesn't happen all the time, but it's definitely noticeable where the system is having problems with how detailed the character models are. They're just not moving, smoothly enough. It doesn't seem to be a RAM problem. It seems to be an issue with just being able to render the textures correctly at a smooth frame rate. There's definitely huge frame rate issues overall, and just a lot of slowdown when things get a little crazy. If both characters are doing a really fast special move at the same time, there's going to be noticeable slowdown. But if only one character is attacking, or if you're both doing just sort of normal moves, there's not a lot of slowdown. So that's kind of the big problem here, and because it's a very bare bones fighting game, it's really only versus, arcade, and practice mode. That's about it. Only a handful of stages, only around a dozen characters and two unlockable ones. So there's not a ton of content, so it really relies on that content being great. And that content is one-on-one matches in a 3D fighter. So if that's where the problems lie, it's a very big problem. But overall, it is a great game to have, and it's something where there weren't a whole lot of unique fighters for the N64. It's something that pales in comparison to the selection you have on the original PlayStation, and of course, if you have a Saturn with a RAM cart, nothing can beat that. It's one of the best systems ever for fighters, especially 2D fighters. But the N64 did have a couple unique ones that were really good, and this is one of them, Mace the Dark Age. Like I said, the slowdown is a problem, but you can kind of remedy that with lower the difficulty on the game And again, you don't have to feel like, oh, I'm a pussy because I'm playing on medium or whatever. With the slowdown, it kind of adjusts the difficulty for you anyway. And it's a good multiplayer game. I actually found that it's better playing just one-on-one with a friend. It has enough uniqueness to it with the over-the-top heavy metal feel to it and very nice, interesting character designs that it stands out. It's not like a Mortal Kombat clone. It's not a Tekken clone. It's just a very solid but not exceptional fighter for the N64. Pretty decent game. If you find it, it's dirt cheap. An N64 exclusive. So go ahead and check it out if you're a big 5th gen fighting fan like I am.
Hell Knight win! Hell Knight versus Koyasha. Round 1, fight.